The Great Knitting Needle Hunt by Paul Geraghty. I hope I haven't read this one already, have I? The Great Knitting Needle Hunt. Oh dear, said Gran, I've lost a knitting needle. Now I can't finish the jumper that I'm knitting just for you. Where in the world could it be? Well, I said, Skip and I are great explorers. Who do you think Skip is? I think Skip might be this puppy dog. We'll search the whole world over till we find that knitting needle that you need to knit a jumper just for me. We ventured deep into the jungle and we hunted there. But we couldn't find that needle anywhere. Instead, we found, let's see if you can find them. We found a frog, a snake, a parrot, 3 monkeys and 2 toucans and a great big hungry tiger hunting for his supper. So off we raced in search of somewhere safe to hide. Can you see all those animals? And of course that knitting needle and of course we were looking for that knitting needle Granny needed to knit a jumper just for me. We crept inside a dark and spooky cave, and still we searched. But we couldn't find that needle anywhere. Instead, we found a row of stalagmites, an icy pool, some bats, some rocks, some stalactites, and lots of eerie eyes. And they were watching Skip and me. So we tiptoed off in search of daylight. And of course, that knitting needle Granny needed to knit a jumper just for me. We climbed the highest mountain. Maybe it was hidden at the top. But we couldn't find that needle anywhere. Instead, we found a great blue sky, a nest, some giant eggs, and a very angry eagle ready to attack. So we scrambled down in search of lower ground. Where's the eggs? Oh, I see. I think I can see. And of course, the knitting needle Granny needed to make a jumper just for me. We dived into the ocean where the ships leave sunken treasure, hoping we'd find it hidden in the coral. I think he's got a whale in his bathtub. Oh, but we couldn't find that needle anywhere. Instead, we found 3 angelfish, a turtle and an eel, a ray, sometimes we call that a stingray, an octopus, a shrimp, 2 shoals of fish, and suddenly a great big whale with sharp white teeth. So up we quickly swam in search of land. Can you find all of those things? And of course that knitting needle Granny needed to knit a jumper just for me. We hunted in the city where there were lots of places we could search. But we couldn't find that knitting needle anywhere. Instead, we found a tall office block and hooting cars, some brightly painted traffic signs, 2 pigeons, and an ancient dome, and a crowd of bustling people about to squash us flat. So out we dodged in search of somewhere quieter. And, of course, the knitting needle that Granny needed to knit a jumper just for me. Tired and worn out, we thought of one last place we could try, the plains of Africa. So we set off on safari and we hunted everywhere. What do they find on the plains of Africa? We found herds of wildebeest and zebra, some giraffes, a lizard, a mosquito, a rhinoceros, 3 vultures, a sugar bird, a monkey, a hornbill, and then there in a tree, the knitting needle Granny needed to knit a jumper just for me. So off we raced in search of Granny. I wonder where that mosquito is. Can you see it? Must be somewhere. I don't know where it is. Oh, but Granny had fallen fast asleep right in the heart of the African plain. Granny, here's that knitting needle that you need to knit a jumper just for me. And Granny sighed and said, "Oh, silly me. Now I'll knit your jumper. But first I need my glasses. Where on earth can they be?" Can you see Granny's glasses? I can. And that's the end of the story.